Check out this episode of the Patch Notes from the Pre-Patch Podcast.
Let's talk about Wayfinder.
Oh boy.
So, Scruffy and I have played the early access version of Wayfinder. Enigma and I were playing the beta version of Wayfinder. So, yeah,
Kick it off.
Yeah, okay, all right. So, here's the thing, right? So, if you're unfamiliar with Wayfinder, Wayfinder is a third person. They claim MMORPG that is action based. That is it's an over the shoulder.
It's light on the MMO.
Yeah, I would say it's very light on the MMO.
It's about as MMO as Destiny is.
Yeah,
maybe less.
Maybe a little bit less. Yeah,
it's got open world areas. Like I've
but
seen
like
them at least.
and again, I don't know if this is because of the server issues. Like first and foremost, the thing is getting fucking just destroyed.
Talk about rough launches. Early access or not, this has been a rough launch for this game.
Yeah. Like constant kick issues, constant queue issues. If you do get kicked, you get put back into a queue. The queue has gone down. I don't know if that's because people have stopped playing the game or if it is because they are fixing issues. But
we can tell. If you want.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at Steam charts, but also the game is on Epic. It is on PlayStation. It is coming to Xbox later, I believe, because I don't think it is fully launched on Xbox that I saw. But anyway, it dropped, right? Like it's player base
dropped a lot.
Are you looking at Steam charts?
Yeah. They went from 24,000 to a peak of 13,000. So I mean, it didn't drop a ton, but
it's not a ton. Plus, that's only one platform to take into consideration. True. But still, yeah. So there's going to be a drop. There always is.
It's very akin to Warframe. I personally think it looks like a mobile game. Like the hard part about this game is that there are moments where it shines and it feels good and it feels fun to play. You know, it reminds, me and Scruffy have said it multiple times, and it reminds us of WildStar days of like the art style.
It's got that WildStar appeal, the comedy, the flashiness, the comedic, effect. Yeah, it's got that.
Where and like, I don't like. There are some moments. I just want to say there are moments in the game where I'm like, yeah, cool, okay, this is fun. But also too, there are a lot of moments where you get into it and you're like, and not even just bugs. Like because it's early access, so I'll take the bugs away from it. But like the object of the game is to grind out gear. The object of the game is to grind out your character, your weapons, your wayfinders, right?
Grind out mats to craft to new weapons, new wayfinders, all that kind of stuff.
So we thought, okay, cool, no problem. We went into the store and we looked, and I was just questioning because comments that the developer has made was like, oh, the store is cosmetics. Like there's cosmetics in the store, which there are cosmetics, and there's some pretty dope cosmetics. But
cosmetics,
there are also a tab that says weapons. So I was just like, So me and Scruffy were kind of like playing around with it. And I was like, screw it. I've got my Founders Edition coins. I'm going to dump another $10 into it.
Oh, did you get your coins?
Yeah, I finally got my coins. That was one of the other bugs
thing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
people spending $150 to get into this game if you choose to get to the big boy edition was not getting all of their stuff. So I spent another $10. And in fact, you can see it right here. The weapon that I'm carrying right next to Scruffy is one of the legendary weapons that you have to grind for. I was able to pay for it and just buy it.
It's a grind too.
Outright.
It's not
it is not easy, like at all. And I was able to just buy the weapon, completely outright. It starts at level 1. So it's not like it comes out with any kind of like crazy features.
No, but I imagine we don't know for sure, but I imagine the weapons you craft too are also going to start at level 1.
That's what I was going to ask is when you grind those weapons, do they start at level 1 or do they get boosted?
I can't say for sure. Cannot say for sure. We don't know. We have not crafted a weapon yet, but we would assume, right?
Right, because
you craft a new weapon, it starts at level 1. Each weapon has its own level. Exactly. You got to level it up. So when you just outright buy that weapon instead of crafting it, you're just starting at the same place that you would craft it, right?
Yes.
So what is the point? What's the point, man?
It's very like it's
is this a PvP?
No PvP, so all PvE.
So that's not as bad, but like still, it is definitely pay to win. Like it's not. I would call that
is there. That's
I would call that pay to win, not pay to progress, because like
Right.
Pay to progress is like you pay for stuff to help you like
to
with
boost
crafting
the speed
and
of
shit.
crafting,
Yeah.
like
But like not
collecting
just
mats,
paying
not
straight
just
out for the fucking weapons and shit.
and skipping all of the rungs on the ladder. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and the issue is that there's not, it's not just like the store has just a few items. Like, if the store had just like, you know, a few paid items that, you know, were kind of like whatever, like maybe a little tweak, or just again, I don't know why they just didn't do a skin. Like, if I just want the skin
like
of this
that's
weapon,
what I thought at first, man. Is like, all right, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe these are just skins of the weapons that you can craft that then you can apply to other variants of those weapons. You know, like you have a shotgun, but you want it in this rifle skin. Sure, there you go. Buy it, equip it, boom. But no, yeah, you just straight up buy it. So
yeah, it's
I don't know why they went down that route.
it's
Whack.
all of the weapons.
Sorry
like,
for my gameplay, man. It's so
Jesus.
fucking stuttery, my ISP.
It's all of the, it's like all the legendary weapons are all up for grabs and buys. So it's not like there's
Yeah,
just
all
like
of them.
some of them
Like-
and you can get, you know, better ones. Like,
Yeah.
it's all of them are up for grabs to purchase. You know, and I, like I said, so all in all, I have dumped $30 in it, $20 for the early access, and $10 for the extra, you know, just to test this out.
Yeah.
People that have spent $150, granted, you get $120 worth of content like out of it, like with coins and skins and Wayfinder tokens and all that kind of stuff.
Pretty dope skin too.
I
They
just,
got good cosmetics, man. Like that's the thing too.
I just
They could have done it with
pissed
just that.
because
Yeah, I would too.
I just like the content of the game itself. There are some really like the world is fun to explore and jump around.
So that
in
was
and
the
shoot.
bad that we got
Yeah.
into, and there's
Yeah.
still little things, but that was the main point of contention. Like now, like the good is the game. It looks good. It's a really aesthetically pleasing game. It's got a great world. The dungeon system, I think, is where it really excels.
Yeah.
You know, you go into dungeons that you can kind of mold right off the bat. You know, a lot of games have this dungeon map system, or like this game has, it's called
Like
the
affect
imbuement system. Affect system. It's called the imbuement system, where you go into a dungeon and you can imbue that dungeon with different modifiers that will, you know, affect enemies, affect loot, affect yourself, and you can combine them too. So there's a lot of endless like combinations that you can do to the dungeons to, you know, change them up, and also to change them up to your advantage. Say you need to go into that dungeon for a certain item to craft, well, you can imbue that dungeon to get that item pretty much, you know.
Right.
So it's really cool. It's got a pretty in-depth dungeon system that, and it feels good, man. I like that.
The other thing about the imbue system, what I think is really cool, is there's a mystery to like mixing and matching the imbuements. I don't know if you mentioned that, but like
I've looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can go in and say like, hey, I want to do like a solar imbuement, which means that I'm going to be taking damage over time. It gives me a buff, but like I'm also going to getting a debuff. But then I can also attach this like greed imbuement, and now together
that's where the combinations.
Yeah, it's like okay, cool. Like now you've got this like fiery like gold thing, and it does something completely different, and whatever else. And like their boss mechanics, their boss fights are really cool. Like we did one yesterday that was called the gloom something, or I don't know. It's like this big blob.
Mother, or
yeah,
no, that was a
gloom
something
mother
like
or
that.
something like that. I don't know. Gloom. I don't know. Anyway, it was like this big blob thing, and like it had like all of these different mechanics and like different things. It was super fun to like play around.
Jumping up in the air, spawning ads, of course. But then you kill it, it splits off into like Zack from League of Legends, bro. Legit, like 4 little slimes come out of it that start going towards the middle that you have to kill. You have to do that like a few times to really take this boss down. It's cool. It's an engaging mechanics that, you know, they offer for the bosses and other stuff in the game too.
Yeah. You know, I would say honestly, like the open world, though it is very beautiful and fun to explore, I like explore. I don't think it's enough to explore. Like honestly, I would have much rather them have hub worlds where like I just basically go into a hub and then I jump into a dungeon and then I go through that. Like I don't know if this game needed an open world aspect of it.
Is the Highlands just a really big hub though?
I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure it is.
To me,
I don't think it's necessarily an open world though.
It's just, I mean, it's open world in the sense that you see other players. Like it's not like Breath of the Wild open world, but it's it's not like a generalized like. But it's still dungeon.
It's not a generalized dungeon, but it still has dungeons off like like off the side of it. Like the pit is a dungeon in the Highlands or whatever. So,
but
I think it is kind of like a hub, but it's a large scale hub.
I just don't know if there's a necessary reason for that to exist. Like I think that this is the crown jewel, which is their dungeon system, and like that.
Definitely.
And like I much would have rather just gone to the whatever the great lift, been there, do my shit there, then run out and say, okay, cool, I want to go and do this dungeon.
True, right? But I also think that depends on like the type of player you are. Myself, I've actually started exploring the Highlands, and I found some pretty interesting like POIs, points of interest, that have been fun to explore and do like little side stuff as well. So it kind of offers two sides of the, however play style you want. You can have just straight run dungeons all the time, though you do have to progress through the Highlands, so that is kind of forced, but you don't have to explore everything. You can just, rush it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but yeah, I guess.
It does have dungeons.
Yeah, so it's an MMO.
It's an MMO, so
then that means it's
dungeons.
an MMO. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Again, here's what I'll say about the game, because I don't want to spend too much time, because we do have a lot to talk about. But like, the game is fun. I can't see spending $20 on it. I definitely can't see spending $150 on it.
Not until they like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I'd like to play it, but like, I don't want to spend the money on it until they get their shit fixed. Like,
I think it's a good free to play game, for sure. I just like, with other games being out right now and coming out, like I just don't see this as something I would just be like, yo, I'm gonna definitely spend a shit ton of my time doing and playing. Like, again, it's enjoyable. Every class can play every weapon. Like,
it's kind of the same way I feel about Paleo right now. It's like, I've been playing Paleo a little bit recently, and like it's a fun game, but I'd wait until it releases to free to play. Like, it's just not that good,
because you have to pay to get into that, right?
No, you don't have to pay.
Paleo is yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's moments where I am like, oh, I'd really like, and again, like we said, this is where it shines. You're looking at a dungeon thing that's happening, event that's happening, that you did not need to do. It was just there. It didn't tell you what you have to do. And you're just kind of like, what am I? Yeah, you just figure out what the hell is going on. Which is cool. Like, that's a really great exploratory, kind of nature to the game. But I don't know. Like, I don't have a piece that I'm just like, I got to keep coming back to it.
I think they've got a good like own system, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I think they've got a good base to it, and I think once they like tidy everything up and like they get their shit together and figured out, I think it'll be a really good game.
I just don't know what they're gonna do about the weapon system.
I honestly, I think that's a terrible idea.
Into it, whether or not there is community feedback on what people think about it. I can't see people being happy about it.
I went on to like Reddit, and there's a lot of people that are complaining about, like, I was trying to figure out if
rightfully
it was
so.
Like that night you guys were playing that first night, I was trying to figure out if it was pay to win as well. And Reddit's tearing them apart for it.
I hope they somehow roll it back, because it is.
Well,
it is.
No,
It makes it pay to win.
I don't think there's any argument.
No, it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that's Wayfinder.
Thank you for sticking around to the end of the patch notes. And if you want to see more of the pre-patch podcast content, don't forget to check us out live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Or you can check us out at anchor.fm/prepatch podcasts, or on any site that podcasts are listened to. Much love.